Hello, how are you? This is Hina from Team Vallath and welcome with a surprise. I told you last time that we are completing African literature series, but there's one more important novel. So let's do it right away. It is called Sardines. With this good news, there's one more good news I have to tell you. Well, we are starting with Vallath Net Quiz program. You know about it? Well, this will start from September 4th, 2023, and you will have the subscription or you will have access to all the question answers until December net exam. There will be around 10,000 questions, okay? And it will cover paper 1 and paper 2. You will get so many quizzes topic wise, followed by model test, etc. Okay, the fees is 1,999, and if you want this course, if you want this quiz program with us, kindly call on the number 93878 Okay, so now I've given you two good news, and with this, let's begin with the novel Sardines. Published in the year 1981, written by Nuruddin Farah. Look at Mr. Farah on the screen. He was born in the year 1945 in Italian Somaliland. Currently, he resides in Cape Town, South Africa. The setting of Sardines is 1970s Somalia, when Somalia was independent, but it had a dictatorship government. The genre of Sardines is, it is a historical political novel. And I thought I should tell you, Farah has also studied in India. He studied in Italy. He has moved in various places around the world. One of those places is India. So Farah worked for the Ministry of Education in Somalia before coming to India to study philosophy and literature. Let me tell you, he studied in Chandigarh. Okay. And this Sardines is a part of a trilogy of novels by Nuruddin. The name of this trilogy is Variations on the Theme of an African Dictatorship. And the three novels under this trilogy are, first, Sweet and Sour Milk, published 1979. Second, Sardines, published 1981. And third, Close Sesame, published 1983. Before we jump into the novel, I thought I should tell you about the historical context of Sardines. See, the Somali Republic gained independence in 1960 and elected its own government democratically. But this government was overthrown in a coup by Major General Syed Bar in the year 1969. So the African Dictatorship trilogy was written by Farah when he was staying in Italy. And he has given his intellectual and rebellious voice to protagonists in these novels. For example, in Sardine, the author Nuruddin has actually given his voice to the protagonist of Sardine, who is Medina. So he gave his intellectual and rebellious voice to Medina, who is the protagonist of Sardines, against General Syed Bar's oppressive regime. And this dictator Bar appears in the trilogy as an unnamed general. Farah has not named General Bar explicitly. We will just know him with the name The General. With this information, let's begin with today's novel, Sardines. Medina is a beautiful and a well-read girl with a degree in literature. She has lived and studied in Italy for 12 years. Currently, she is working as a journalist in civil war-torn Somalia, and she is the assistant editor of the only daily newspaper in Somalia. However, because Medina is so well-read, she knows about the dictatorship of the general, so she uses this post of hers to work underground against the general. And because of this, what will happen? The general comes to know about the wrongdoings of Medina. Because of this, she gets fired from her job, and a presidential decree denies her from publishing her writings in Somalia. So did you see how the general punishes Medina very strategically? He does not jail her. He only fires her and merely bans her writing. Basically, he has made her crippled, okay? For example, if you are illiterate and if I take all the books from you, I give you clothes, food. If I take away books from you, what will happen to you? You'll become mentally crippled. And that is what the general tries to do with Medina, okay? Medina cannot publish her writing anywhere in Somalia. But now, being illiterate that Medina is, she cannot be silenced. She decides to translate 20 classics of world literature into Somali, which is the language of Somalia. Why? To read to her 8-year-old daughter, Ubax. So another character introduced after the general and Medina is Ubax, the daughter of Medina. Also, she connects these classics to the Somalian land. For example, the snow of the Icelandic sagas becomes sand of the Somalian desert in the translation of works by Medina. Okay. You should know something here. Medina does not send Ubax to school because at school they only teach children how to praise and follow the government. In fact, Medina is educating her daughter by herself. She wants Ubax to be independent and very, very open and vocal about her thoughts. Now, let's enter another character in our summary. Who is he? He is the husband of Medina. His name is Samatar. Samatar. Samatar is Medina's husband. He is an architect by profession and works as the Minister of Construction because plenty of Soviet funding building enterprises are occurring at this time in Somalia. But unlike Medina, Samatar is weak and disoriented, and their marital life is not at all smooth. So here, no matter, he is an architect. Samatar is an architect and he constructs, but the reality or the construction of a good world or a good Somalia is actually done by Medina. Okay, this is symbolic. Now, let's talk about mother-in-law of Medina, that is the mother of Samatar. Her name is Idil. Idil. So Samatar and his mother Idil live in Medina's house since Samatar cannot afford to buy a house by himself. Now one day, Dadi Idil demands that her granddaughter Ubax should be circumcised as prescribed in their culture. In so many novels that we have discussed till now in African literature, the women have spoken about circumcision. You should read about it. I've told you, you should know how African girls were circumcised at an early age. Okay. Now, it has happened with Medina when she was young, and she has gone through the pain of this procedure and also the uselessness of this procedure, as she says. So Medina cannot accept this for her daughter. So she decides to leave her husband Samatar and Idil and move to her brother's vacant house with Ubax. Here the theme of gender justice is discussed. Far from home, the little 8-year-old Ubax misses her friends, misses her toys, but Medina refuses to return. Medina is determined to build for herself a room of one's own, that is, a country of her own. So Medina and Ubax literally enter a domestic exile. Okay, easy till here, easy. Note, you should know, a woman such as Medina experiences triple subjection. Subjection at the hands of tradition, at the hands of state, and also her uniform discourse of Italian, her knowledge of Italian. But let me tell you, this works in her favor. Her knowledge of Italy and Italian language becomes a positive tool in her struggle against oppression in Somalia, right? Now let's move on with the novel. While Samatar and Idil stay without Medina, Idil, the mama, she does something very cunning. She brings in a cousin. Why? She says that I'm just calling her to help me with the domestic affairs. But the reality is, Idil wants that her son, Samatar, should marry this cousin. Imagine, she brings in a cousin to become the wife of Samatar. But Samatar has other plans altogether. What are his plans? He throws these two women out of the house, which is literally not even his, it is Medina's. So he throws his mother Idil and the cousin out of the house and starts an affair with Atta. Atta. Atta is a new character. She is an anti-white African-American woman. She says, I have come to rescue my African brothers and sisters. Africa is my nation. She's anti-white. Okay. So here Atta is introduced as the girlfriend of Samatar. Okay. After this, let's meet Medina's immediate family. Who are there in her family? First, Medina's brother, Nasser. Now, Nasser, at one point in the novel, returns from abroad to meet his sister Medina and his niece Ubax. After this, Medina's father, whose name is Barkhadle. Barkhadle is a very brave man. He was a former ambassador serving Somalia, but the general had exiled him. Why? Again, because he was very open about the thoughts and all the critical, all the oppression and the dictatorship that was happening in Somalia. He raised his voice about it. He was critical about it. Result, the general exiled him. So do you understand? Medina has taken after her father. What is the name of the father? Barkhadle. After Barkhadle Papa, let's meet Medina's mama, whose name is Fatima bint Thabit. Fatima, unlike the other family members, is a very traditional and a proud and a rich woman. She accepts her and women's status as prisoners or their caged existence with very much pride. She says that is what we are born, okay? That is how women are born. So what? So she accepts her caged existence. She, in fact, disrespects her servants. She's like in her own world. After Mama and Papa, let's meet Medina's Dada or grandfather, who is also very orthodox. His name is Gad Thabit. Gad Thabit. And there is a rumor that Gad Thabit Dadaji tried to burn down the wing of the house in which a newborn Medina was sleeping. Because a girl was born, Dadaji did not want the girl, okay, to survive. Here, theme of patriarchal influence, too much hunger for a boy or a son or a grandson is discussed, okay? Now, after her family, let's discuss Medina's friends in Sardines, okay? These are important characters, so I'm just naming them. You will know about them. First is Sagal. Who is Sagal? Sagal is a professional swimmer who has won many swimming competitions. However, the next competition is the most crucial because this will decide her entry into Budapest International Swimming Competition. Sagal's ex-boyfriend's name is Wentworth George, who is a Black Caribbean. And somewhere Sagal is very worried that she might be pregnant with Wentworth George and they are no more together. Here, Sagal's mother is introduced, very important because Ibla, Sagal's mother, not just appear in Sardine, she appears in other novels by Nuruddin also. So let's now meet Ibla, who is Sagal's mother. Sagal lives with her mother Ibla, and the mother-daughter, that is Sagal and Ibla, have a very strenuous relationship. Sagal, note, is the only child of Ibla with her first husband, Awil. But after divorcing Awil, Ibla marries again. She becomes widow. She gets widowed by her second husband's death. And now she's in a relationship with a man called Bail. Okay. Now here, as I told you, note, Ibla is the protagonist of Farah's earlier novel, that is Sweet and Sour Milk, and Bail appears in Nuruddin Farah's later novels. Okay. Now the second friend of Medina after Sagal is Amina. Amina, note, is gang raped in Sardines and she becomes pregnant, but she decides to continue her pregnancy. And there is a time in the novel when Medina breaks up her friendship with Amina, but the two reconcile later. Okay. Now, the third friend discussed in Sardines of Medina is Sandra. Sandra, note, is an Italian. So she is Medina's Italian friend. And when she comes to Somalia, she associates herself with general's Marxist ideology, because of which Medina cannot accept Sandra's friendship, okay? She cannot accept Sandra's neo-colonial discourse. What is neo-colonialism? When you're still using culture, economics, power, to rule over others, okay? That is neo-colonialism. And note here, Atta and Sandra are the women who validate despotism, that is absolute power, sexually and ideologically. How sexually? There is a time when Sandra is actually giving favors, okay, sexual favors to people in the government. That is why it's written here that Atta and Sandra are women who love absolute power, okay? They can do anything to get this power or despotism. And with this, we come to the end of Sardines. How does the novel Sardines by Nuruddin Farah end? At the end of the novel, Samatar breaks up with the dominating people he is surrounded with. Who are these people? First, patriarch general. Second, matriarch mother Idil. And third, anti-white girlfriend Atta. After this, what does Samatar do? He revives his moral and political integrity and returns to his wife Medina and daughter Ubax. Yes, the family is together again. This family alliance is a validation of their love in the face of an authoritarian society and state. Sardines, in fact, affirms the sanctity of private space. Easy, easy. I liked it. This is Hina from Team Vallath, and we are adding one more feather in our cap. What is it? See, we have decided that after we complete the series, any series, we shall do the quiz related to it. So in my next session, I'm going to come up with African literature quiz. How do you like that idea? Do you like it? Of course, it is going to be great. So see you very soon with the quiz based on African literature. And as I told you, we're starting with NET quiz program. If you want to join it for the upcoming December NET exam, kindly call us 93878 39871. Take very good care of yourself. Bye-bye.